clear your throats. Right. You done? You done? Because I've got an opening here. I'm trying to open this. Jesus Christ. Go like this. Balcote, Tarasum Cote, Jusoran, Canto Atome, Sakiran, Nautrashi, Katvotean. Oh, hi Thomas.
Was that Mando Ade?
That is Vodean.
Huh.
Yes, I've known that for ages. Yes.
Ah.
Actually written it down as well, so that's how it's actually spelt.
Blimey.
Yeah, that's dedication I go to for my viewers here.
That is dedication.
Yeah, so how are you?
I'm alright.
You right? Yeah, good.
Been a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the tagline of our entire series, let's be fair.
Well, we need to give people enough time to watch.
Yeah, all 42, is that 42 episodes now? I think it's something...
Oh, Jesus.
Something like that, yes, yeah. All made with love and lots of singing, lots of amazing singing. So yeah, thanks for asking. I'm feeling ecstatic today, Thomas. Actually,
Are you?
I am, because today is the fruits of our labour have finally bared fruit.
Pardon?
If that's
English, yes.
Well, yes. He script read good. Well, see, no, I've put a question mark next to that, so I'm not sure if I was intending to ask you about that first.
The fruits of our labour have borne fruit.
Have borne fruits. Right, there we go. Good stuff. See, I'm too versed in the Mandoa at this point so there we go. But that's
English
fine.
may as well be your second language.
It might as well. Well, there we go. So as you know, myself, my trusty file of facts here. Don't worry, it's not too much. I've actually got a couple pages.
It's a single piece of paper, people.
I've got a couple pages here just dedicated to just waffle and rant. So you can see I've just scrolled across the front there.
Waffle, semi-relevant rant. I mean, it's our playbook.
It's a thick boy though. It's a thick boy. So you and me have been doing this playthrough now diligently for quite a while. We've been playing all the offline arcade maps with the hopes that one day
one of them will be good.
What? Jesus Christ, man! Fucking hell, the editing has to do with this. Jeez. Hopefully, we were going to get. Hopefully, we're going to get a large-scale combined arms objective mode for offline mode, and
we sort of did. Is that this update or?
If you let me finish talking, I'll.
You've got the script.
I've got the script. I'm in control. Know your place. So previously we just played some arcade maps, team deathmatch and survival modes, if you remember, and there was the Starfighter maps as well. We did those.
Yeah.
We quite liked those. Obviously we wanted an objective mode. We wanted a big map as well, and to use like vehicles and stuff like that. Happy to report that that's exactly what we've got here today. So in this cooperation update, as it's being called, obviously they like their names. Like last time was the Chosen One update. This is the cooperation update.
The cooperation update.
The cooperation update, yes.
Why?
So basically, with this update, we've got an offline conquest mode called Instant Action.
Yeah.
Lovely nostalgic name there. We've got a 4-player co-op mode for online, which I guess is where the name comes from.
4-player.
4-player co-op, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's the Clone Commando. So cooperation after the 4-player co-op mode, because that's probably the most important thing for the online community. So so today we're going to go through all the instant action content. So obviously that's what we've been doing this series for, as I've previously mentioned.
Yep. Single players. Offline players.
Yeah, solo players matter. And this is a really important update for us. It has come 2 years after the game launched.
Jesus, has it been that long?
It has, yeah. But that is a good point, I think, because this game has really been through hell and back, and I think you and I in this playthrough have not hesitated to call it out on that.
Oh,
in the past, like the shoddy launch, pay to win, microtransactions. The
game at launch was a mess.
It was, and it was lacking in content as well. Sadly, an issue that there seems to be epidemic with AAA Western games, unfortunately, at the moment.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that I don't think the lack of an offline conquest mode, which we've been wanting, and solo players has been wanting for ages, is necessarily like part of that issue. Like there was a massive lack of content at launch for this game, but
there was a lack of content in every area. It wasn't as though it was a good MMO without any solo content. It was
exactly.
just very limited content.
Yeah. But it's just for all the people that you're trying to say, oh yeah, well, now we've got offline conquest, it's a good game. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, this game's had a lot of content over these past 2 years, and it is getting better and better. And I don't think that's necessarily the crux of the issue. You can't say, oh yeah, well, it was missing offline conquest, so therefore it was a bad game. There are games of this type that are just, especially these days, that are online only. They could be good games, Don't delude yourself into saying, oh yeah, well, it's only good because of offline conquest. If it's good to you because of that reason, which, we can relate to, that's fair. But that doesn't make it good for everyone, and the omission of that doesn't make it bad, for everyone either. That's more of a subjective thing.
Games for over the past decade or so, maybe even longer, have been trying, especially the AAA games, have been trying to please everyone.
Yes, definitely.
And I don't think you ever can.
Yeah.
Because I think the best way to judge a game is like, does it do what it sets out to do?
Yeah.
Like there are games like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Which are just single player experiences.
Yes.
There's some community to it, but it's a single player experience.
Yeah.
There are games that are open world, there are linear games, there are dedicated multiplayer things like World of Warcraft or whatever.
Yeah.
A game, and like people, everyone's going to have their own tastes.
Yes.
Every individual's going to have their own tastes. I like a certain kind of game. Matt likes a certain kind of game. All of you out there will have your own pet genre that you prefer to play.
Yeah.
But even when a game tries to please everyone, like I think this game did.
Yes.
That's when you start pleasing nobody, because all the effort that could be focused on one thing is spread out over all these aspects, and then none of them really measure up.
Yes.
I mean, for me, if you say, because you know more about the game than me, if you say this now is a good game, I believe you. Like, God knows we've had some fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to have more fun today as well.
I'm sure. The question for me is, how good does this game have to be to justify the 2 years we've waited for it?
Because the content has been free, with the added, sort of
but then again,
compensation of microtransactions.
You did. There is a large upfront cost for a AAA game these days.
Yes.
Like, the updates might have been free, but they were putting in stuff that, for the price of the game, should have been there from the start.
Yeah.
So, free is not necessarily... Free update is a bit disingenuous to me.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I will say that, and I'm not trying to defend what the game has been. Like, as I said, you and I have called out a lot of the criticisms on the game in the past in our previous playthroughs. Just check them out if you don't believe me. But I think pinpointing what exactly should have been there at launch and what didn't need to be in order to be a satisfying experience it's a bit of a tricky task.
I'd say it might not even be possible, because that will vary from person to person.
Yeah. I don't. And the point that I was making, sorry, I'll let you go. The point I was making is that offline conquest is not, while it was something that we really wanted, and the reason we made this playthrough, it's not necessarily, the big thing that was missing at launch. A lot of things were missing. I'm really glad they've done it now, I've been playing the heck out of it since it launched. This is a week after, because Tom was a bit ill last week.
Yeah, I'm still a bit.
That's okay.
If I'm coughing and sniffing, I'm fighting off a cold. So
We
I'll
appreciate
try not to do it into the mic.
We appreciate your sacrifice. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. But yeah, really glad it's here. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was like the biggest thing, or even one of the biggest things missing at launch, because this was always, for the most part, it was always trying to be online PvP.
Yeah.
And you know, I personally didn't like that. That's part of why I've been part of the solo players group since more or less since it started, which itself was just after Battlefront 2015 came out. So that's, what is that? It's like
4 years ago now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a long time. So I'm very passionate about it, but at the same time, you've got to try and ground yourself. You know, that's not necessarily something that this game was really missing. But yeah, I think that's just a really important point I wanted to make.
This game has a lot of problems. I think the main point is that we didn't, when this game was launched 2 years ago, Jesus Christ, we didn't have like a shopping list of things this game must have to be good.
Yes.
It's just that we knew, you know what a good game feels like, and this didn't feel like a good game.
Yeah.
And it's taken a long time for it to get to this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Like 2 years in the lifetime of a video game, even nowadays.
Yeah.
2 years is a long time.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, credit to them. I mean, I'm sure EA wanted to just cut their losses.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure there were lots of voices inside that company saying, okay, this is a bust.
Yeah.
Let's stop supporting it and go do something else.
And
And honestly, from like a businessman perspective, you wouldn't really have been able to fault them for that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally agree.
So credit to them. They've at least attempted to fix their mess.
Yes, yeah.
But it was their mess, and nobody made them make this mess.
Absolutely, yeah.
They did it all themselves.
Yeah. We absolutely we should not stop talking about how bad this game's launch was. It's great that it's in a way better place now. Like I can't wait to go into all the details about how much it's improved and what I really think of it. And I can't wait to show you all of it as well, Tom, for you to experience it. But we absolutely shouldn't forget how bad it was, because the moment we forget is the moment that they'll do it again. They'll do it, and really they have been trying it with lots of other games, lots of other publishers, to a lesser degree, yes, but still really insulting to the consumer. You know, just games like, you know, Fallout 76 and Anthem.
Yeah.
It's just all the same thing. It's all microtransaction fueled garbage with a lack of content. No, it's insulting.
EA actually had an I don't know if it was an announcement as such, but I saw a tweet that they put out saying, yes, we're not going to put any microtransactions in Fallen Order, as though that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And you can really see the state that the industry's in, because nobody believes them.
Absolutely. And the people that do will turn to them and say, oh, look at EA, they got our backs, they're on our sides, yeah, we can trust them. That's so generous of them. No, that's what they should do. That's not generous, that's what they should be doing.
Also, those people have no pattern recognition if they think that EA are a trustworthy company.
Absolutely, yeah. So appreciate and recognise the fact that this game is different from what it was in launch. It's not pay to win anymore, unlike some people that seem to like to say on Twitter and so on. It's not, and it's in a way better place. That's great. We wanted the game to succeed from the very beginning, but it wasn't succeeding at the very beginning. It was a shit show, and we shouldn't forget that either. So
my opinion is that the past 2 years should have been part of the development cycle, rather than an experiment with paying customers.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
I mean, if this update was the release version, like the initial release version, I think we'd have been having an enormously different conversation about it.
God, definitely. No, there's no question, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So that's a really important point, just before we go into more details. Again, just to actually underline that, I just want to go through all the modes, like the full experience that is being offered now to us. 2 years, because the game launched in November 2017, so it is pretty much 2 years, exactly, almost.
Yeah, we're maybe a month shy, but...
Yes, yeah. But let's just take a look at all the modes available. So, single player, you've got your campaign, which I'm not really too hot on, I have to say. I didn't like the story, but the experience is there.
It was one of the first new entries into canon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that now with multiple movies and TV shows and books and other games. Well, not really any other games.
Well, other than Fallen Order, really.
Which isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the first entries in the new canon.
Yeah. So you had that experience. You've now got instant action as well. I'm going to hold off on what the details are of that just yet, but until we get to that part of the video, just because I like to get Thomas' first reaction. But as I said, it's offline conquest mode like the old games, so you've got that, that nostalgia fest that we love. That's great. There's arcade, team deathmatch, survival mode on the ground and in space. So that's the single player stuff. Multiplayer, I think there's about 10 modes, I'd say, separated into 3 categories. So let's just take a look, just verify that. So we've got Hero Starfighters, Heroes vs Villains, Hero Showdown, all the hero modes. That's 3 there. We've got 4 modes in the Assault category: Galactic Assault, Captain Supremacy, Starfighter Assault, and Strike and Extraction. Now those are 2 modes originally by themselves. They've been put into one playlist to help keep the lobbies full, basically.
Okay.
But it's basically a small mode, but a small objective mode for PvP. Basically.
So what is Strike Extraction? Because I don't think I've seen that before.
Okay, so Strike is basically, like I said, it's a small objective-based mode, and it's contextual, so it differs from map to map. But often it's like there's basically 2 activation points. 2 teams fight over, I think attacking or defending. So one team has to activate a bomb on 2 positions, and the other team has to stop that bomb, and stop the timer, because if the timer goes, the bomb blows up, that position is lost. If the attacking team blows up both areas, they win. If the attacking team runs out of time to blow them up,
the defending team wins.
There you go, that's Strike. That's for all 3 eras. I don't think it's actually had any new maps though, and that was a mode that was added at launch.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty, because I used to play Strike exclusively before Capital Supremacy came out, because
it had the objectives, it was a bit small.
And also because fewer players, my internet could handle it.
Fair enough.
It's a solo player's problem, what can I say? But yeah, so I played that mode a lot.
That is a point that I don't think is made often enough.
Yes.
Some people, because of their internet, can only play solo player games.
Yeah.
Like, it's something we forget.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Yes.
But decent internet is a luxury.
Yeah.
And it's a luxury that not everyone can afford.
And also there could be issues on the sort of dev side, the server side with connection issues as well. So that's something that you can't really control.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I'm not saying that's always an issue, but
it can be, especially for small companies.
I mean, I'm not educated enough to be able to pinpoint, right, that's on their end, this is on my end. But some people, like on the Reddit, claim to know that. So I'm not sure, but I mean, it is an issue sometimes. So that's important as well. That's a good point. So I used to play Strike exclusively. I'm pretty sure there has not been any new maps added to Strike since it launched back when the game launched. Yeah. So, and this is an important point. So I'm glad that we touched on that actually, because there are 10 modes available for multiplayer. The problem is the more modes you add, the more you divide up the team between those modes, and some modes will get neglected. Starfighter Assault, that mode that was added at launch. That is
God, that was broken, wasn't it?
That was Starfighter Arcade.
I'm with you.
Yes, okay. But Starfighter Assault, that's the go-to Starfighter mode. All those pilot players out there. That's not had, I think, a single new map, I think, since the Crate DLC.
Jesus, that was a while ago.
That was
last year.
That was.
Or was it January, sort of?
December, maybe.
Well, the movie came out in December.
Yes.
So,
well, actually, no. I think that DLC came out before the movie, because the dev said I don't know. The dev said they didn't have assets to work with because the movie was still in development at that point.
Oh, blimey.
So I don't know. I doubt it will come out before. To be honest, it probably came out
They were
concurrently.
probably making it before.
Yeah.
And then they didn't.
Yeah.
They held it back for release, maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, so that DLC for Starfighter Assault, that came out at the time with either at the same time or after the Last Jedi movie. No new maps since then. And Starfighter in one of really the flagship modes. So if you love flying, if you love Starfighter Assault, which is really the only flying PvP mode, you haven't had new content since then.
This is the thing with
You spread yourself too thin. Spread yourself too thin.
This is also the thing with having one game that you try and make satisfy everyone.
Yes.
Because there hasn't been a dedicated
Mm.
space sim.
Yes.
There hasn't been a Star Wars flying game since Jedi Starfighter, I think.
Yeah.
Way back on, was that the PlayStation 2?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, there have been other games that had flying a spaceship as maybe a mission or two.
Yeah.
Like the Lego Star Wars games or something.
Yeah.
But a dedicated space sim like the old X-Wing TIE Fighter games.
Yes.
I don't think we've had one since the PS2, and it's such a loss, I think.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different types of game that Star Wars can do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ones that is really unique to sci-fi, and Star Wars is still the biggest sci-fi property.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity. I think.
It is, No, I agree with you. And like I said, it's just one of the flaws with having so many modes as well, is that some just go unsupported for ages.
You do have to wonder if some of these modes would be better served if you split them off into a standalone game.
Yeah. I wouldn't envy the person whose task it was to choose which modes remain in a potential sequel for this game, because I do think that, I mean, when you've got modes like that haven't had support for years, really, you'd be better off having fewer modes so that they all get supported. Yeah, just support those, because they would get regular updates that way, and everyone who likes those modes would feel satisfied.
I mean, I would play the hell out of a Star Wars Starfighter game.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
It was one of the few games where I did better than you.
You did, yes, you did. So we don't
and that is rare.
You promised you wouldn't mention that again. No, it's fair. That's fair. So we've got. That's really important points there. We've got 7 modes now. We've got the 3 hero modes, these 4 modes here.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously, like I said, these 2 are lumped together. Oh, extraction. So extraction is basically it's escort something to an end point against a group of enemies trying to stop you. Okay, so those 2 modes now lumped together, I guess, to ensure fuller lobbies.
I'm pretty sure that was a mode in Overwatch.
Probably.
I mean, this might be me showing my ignorance of multiplayer games. It might be that those are just like cookie cutter things that every game has.
Yeah, I think so. That was actually a mode that was in 2015 Battlefront.
Oh, maybe Overwatch are copying them then.
Maybe, I don't know. But I think I mean, logins are quite generic, to be honest. But let's take a look at these. And we got 3 more modes here, so that's 10 modes. 10 multiplayer modes. Yes. So you got 3 single player modes. 10 multiplayer modes. There's a lot of content to come out, and it's a lot of content to support regularly. And like I said, that's where the problems
And some of these
start.
are pretty specialised. Like, I don't know how many maps you can add to Ewok Hunt.
That's a very good point, because it is Ewok Hunt. It's not generic Hunt like the 2005 game.
Well, even the 2005 game only had 2 hunts. Like, you were either the Ewoks or you were the Jawas.
There's also Wookiees versus Magna Guards on Kashyyyk. Do you remember that?
2005?
Yes. There weren't any on 2004. Yeah. And there was a couple more. There was, like you said, Tuskens and Jawas, Tatooine.
The only 2 I remember are Tuskens and Jawas, and Ewoks and Biker Scouts.
Okay. Well, there was definitely Wookiees and Magna Guards on Kashyyyk. Genosians and Clone Snipers on Geonosis.
Oh,
do you remember
yes,
that?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's still not that many. really, is
Is
it?
there one with
Wampus and Rebels. Yes, Wampus and Rebels. That's 5, isn't it?
Okay, so that was a decade. That was 14 years ago.
Yes. No, this is a good point. I want to make this point because people like to make that comparison. But if you look at the assets and the way that they were used back then, for example, Wampus were just Jedi with melee abilities. They even had the Force sprint. Do you remember? Like, it's just copied assets with like a unique skin. All Hunt mode in 2005 was just team deathmatch because you had the number counters to kill enemies with unique skins, and those skins weren't that unique because, like I said, Wampus were basically Jedi. They even had Force sprint. Tuskens were either snipers. They used the same sniper rifle that the other faction snipers did, or they had a repeating blaster rifle. Ewoks just threw grenades. Like, it's all just copied assets. So you can see how it would be easier probably to make that.
Definitely less hardware intense, less developer intense.
Yes.
But the question that leads you to is, for the fun you have playing it, for the final product, is this current game with so much more effort put into it, that's so much more hardware intense, is that extra effort actually worth it? Does it come out as a better game? Because we still play the Pandemic, Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2.
We do.
And I would say we have just as much fun with it as this one.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
That leads you to question whether the extra effort and polish put into this game, it's appreciated.
Yes, yeah.
But is it slightly misplaced when you've got one Ewok hunt mode?
Yes.
And then in the old game 14 years ago, even though it was much less taxing to create, it's got 6 times the content. It
does. But I would say...
I'm not saying...
No, it's fine.
I'm not putting forward one view or the other.
No, it's
I'm just saying that's a question that we should probably ask.
And it's honestly something I've discussed with several people in the solo players community in particular. Because, like I said, there are still some people who believe that the old game is better even after this update. And... in some ways it has more, yes it does, and we'll go into that because I don't want to spoil instant action for Tom just yet, but we will go into that because we're going to do a comparison right at the end of the playthrough when we give our final thoughts, because I think that's really important. But there is definitely more depth to, like, Ewok Hunt on this game is not just team deathmatch, there's more to it than that.
I would say, before seeing what this latest update has added, my last impressions of this game, the Pandemic ones are better single player games.
Absolutely, definitely. Before this update,
I would say that's just a clear decision. Like, if that's the metric you're going by, Pandemic did it better.
For single player,
But obviously that had no multiplayer capacity unless you were playing it on PC.
And it was back in the day when that was just often, that was just the way it was. It wasn't... multiplayer was only starting to take off with the original Xbox version of Battlefront 2. You couldn't play multiplayer on PS2 as far as I knew. Only if you could, we didn't.
I don't think it was an option.
So the focus changes over the years, so naturally there's going to be fewer single player options in a game where, in an age where everyone wants online games,
Well, the companies want to make online games.
Well, but I mean, like, the kind of people that this appeals to, like, a lot of people are still saying I prefer PvP to PvE because bots are boring and so on.
Yes, but I think consoles have really lost focus on local multiplayer. I mean, it's always more fun to play with your friends than to play on your own.
Absolutely.
The problem,
no matter what you're playing, you could play Fallout 76 and you'll still have more fun with it than you would on your own, even though it's an objectively bad game.
The problem I always have is that I don't like making friends online. I don't like playing multiplayer games with strangers.
So I'm quite similar, really.
The Edge consoles, the things consoles did really, really well back in the day was local multiplayer.
Yes.
That you could go around in real life, in meat space,
Yeah.
to a friend's house with a bunch of friends and play like Smash Brothers or something
Yeah.
on split screen and have fun.
Yeah.
And that's next to impossible to do on a PC even today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's becoming more and more impossible to do on consoles as well. And
Yeah.
I think it's a real
It's a shame.
missed opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. No, yeah, very interesting discussion. I think we'll go into more detail in our comparison between this and 2005 later on. Like I said, we've got a full segment for that later. But there's 10 multiplayer modes in this game, 3 single player modes. So there has been a lot of content over the years, and it is tough to support it all. That's one of the downsides. But what I wanted to say really was that I do believe now that with this update, that this is now a top tier quality game, and it's providing something for everyone. You've got a wealth of PvP modes, some are standard, like Team Deathmatch, some gimmicky, like Ewok Hunt, quite unique. You've got a combined PvP/PvE mode in Capital Supremacy with bots as well as players.
Yeah.
Pretty good bots as well, I might add.
Yeah, well, they've been improved recently.
They have, yeah, they've improved for this update as well, actually, you'll see.
Oh, even more.
So yeah, definitely. You've got an offline, old school conquest mode, just like the old games, even with the nostalgic name of Instant Action, which I just love, by the way. You've got 4-player co-op as well, so you've got something for everyone, pretty much. 4-player co-op is, to me, I get Mass Effect 3 multiplayer flashbacks with it, because that multiplayer had it was a horde mode, but I really loved it. It was so intense. It tied into the story really nicely as well. And yeah, I've been playing the heck out of co-op. I can't wait to show you that probably next time, off record, and we'll talk about it in a future Instant Action playthrough.
Yeah.
So today we're going to play Instant Action. We're going to also look up all the stuff that has been added that we haven't covered in our previous playthroughs, like new reinforcements, new skins. Okay.
Oh, I love the skins.
You love the skins. You love a bit of skin. Of course you do. Yes, good stuff.